Okay, guys, welcome to the program. Please stop it. We need to, so guys, there's a video game. It's called Mortal Kombat. All right? And in this game, there's a move that you could do to your opponent called a babality. A babality, okay? You're not going to believe this, okay? But you can turn the opposing player into a baby. Why is this important? Why is this crucial? Why is this a crucial point that I'm making right now? One of the most crucial points of our time, many say. Well, we have many people we make fun of on this channel, okay? If I had to describe what do you do on this channel, I would say, well, I make fun of internet marketing people who happen to promote weird political content.
We need your membership, okay? We just do. Right now we have the best deal of the year. It's 50% off for new members at
Ben Shapiro, that other guy, all of these people, we make fun of them. You know, they're asking for it and it's easy. This video will be a bit of a babality on them, so I want to warn you of that. It's a little disturbing, and thank you. So over the past couple months, I've been noticing a ramping up from a lot of these people that we make fun of on this channel of climate content, I call it.
The reality is that any measure that dramatically harms the global economy on behalf of lowering carbon emissions is a fool's errand. You're much better off taking some of that potential gain and using it on mitigation efforts. A civilization whose primary worry is whether there is going to be global warming over the course of the next 100 years that causes some people to move from their homes and causes, if the estimates are correct and the economy continues to grow as it has done for the past century and a half, it will cause a few thousand deaths over the course of a century.
Global and even national attempts to deal with climate change are going to cause way more trouble than accumulated carbon dioxide. Not because accumulated carbon dioxide isn't somewhat of a threat, but when it becomes a global planetary threat that's a crisis, then it's a justification for virtually any political action.
At what cost are you willing to go? Like at what cost are you willing to shut down our country for something that you consider to be verifiable?
So there's a fellow whose name escapes me right now who just won the Nobel Prize in economics who legitimately made his entire career out of studying the economics of climate change. When does he think that intervention economically is called for? He says that until he believes that over the next century there's 3.5 degrees centigrade of climate change, that intervention actually would be counterproductive. It would cost more to intervene than it would to actually allow the damage to take place and just cope with it.
Okay, so in the 1970s, which was a period of time, these people at MIT did this computer simulation. What is this thing called again? The World 3 computer model. They did this thing called the World 3 computer model, where they wanted to find out at the rate of production and consumption and all this crap of what we're doing in the world, how will this go? How will this end up? And they concluded that if major changes are not made, that economic growth will peak and then rapidly decline around 2040. This doesn't mean that the world would end or explode or anything like that, but it would just mean that basically kind of like the wheels would start coming off of the economic system. Let's just put it that way. It would sound like this. I have a recording of what that would sound like, actually. The guys at MIT did an audio recording somehow too, and it sounded like this. So this report became very popular, very widespread and important and very controversial. They called it the limits to growth. The limits to growth. This was a big story a couple months ago. This researcher named Gaia Harrington went back. She's like, let me look at that limits to growth study again. Let me see if that information holds up. They were running it on a 1972 Atari, I believe. They did it on an Atari. I made that part up. But this researcher, Gaia Harrington, she was like, let me check this out. Let me see if, let me check this data. Let me go back over it and see if their prediction that things will, that sort of the economic system won't be able to function the way it does now, let's just say, around 2040. So her kind of check on this, Her review of that 1972 report was published in Yale's Journal of Industrial Ecology, which I've been published in many times. In fact, I have to tell them to stop calling me. The study assessed whether, given key data known in 2020 about factors important for the, quote, limits to growth, unquote, report, the original report's conclusion are supported in that continued economic growth is unsustainable under a, and we'll get back to this term here, business as usual model. And that if major changes to the consumption of resources are not undertaken, economic growth will peak. Economic growth will peak and then rapidly decline by around 2040.
Uber cars.
So the conclusion here is that if we continue business as usual, there's a good risk that we're facing ecosystem collapse.
Okay, here we go. All right. Took me a long time to fully understand what's going on with this crap.
The toilet bowl, which is full of water so that shit floats in it before it disappears.
The business as usual scenario here, this little model, is basically, it's based on historical data. It's like, what if we kept doing what we've been doing as far as how we produce things and consume things, how we make things, and how we things. And according to this researcher, climate change is one of the main factors. This is what all these people we kind of goof on, give them a little bit of hard time. This is basically what they're pitching. They're just like, we can't really make any changes, and also they're not necessary. Just keep it moving, keep it going. And they're just like, things will work themselves out. Also, little side note, in people like Ben Shapiro's case, I took a lot of money from fossil fuel companies, but that's incidental. Basically, what this model shows, what this confirms, is that muchos problemos with that one. They are totally wrong. And they're not only wrong about the climate change stuff, according to this data, they are also just wrong about the economy in general. Under pretty much all of these circumstances, all of these models, industrial output goes down. In other words, the economy starts to stop working, basically. But if you watch that talk, she says something like, look, we're going to run into a wall on kind of the way we produce and consume things anyway, so why don't we start making these adjustments now?
Our continued pursuit of growth, it won't last anyway. We will bump into limits one way or another.
And then everybody says to her,
That is my own sperm.
I'm not going to go too much into this, but her prescription on how to fix things is probably different than mine, maybe. Not going to get into that argument. The prescription thing is a whole other side. Right now, what we are doing is babalities. We are doing a babality on the people that we make fun of. That's what we do on this channel. We give them a little bit of a hard time, okay?
Wow.
I know. A babality. Business as usual would inevitably,
Wow.
lead to declines in industrial capital, agricultural output, and welfare levels within this century.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dude.
It's enough to make you want to
Beat a kid in Walmart. That intervention actually would be counterproductive. It would cost more to intervene than it would to actually allow the damage to take place and just cope with it. Because the economy is going to continue to grow over time.
So guys, this is a lot to take in at once. You know, there's a lot. Again, a lot of people get very doomer and very about climate change stuff. Look, even if the worst case scenario is true, there's no reason to be doomer. Look, this planet's gonna end anyway. That's what Ben Shapiro and all these people should say. They're just like, this place is not gonna last. And now, ladies and gentlemen, since this is a lot to deal with, I brought in a philosopher to help us deal with this. His name is Slavoj Žižek is here. Yes, well, I don't care because, frankly, I don't like the world that much. You know, it's a piece of crap. What is so great that you wanted the world to keep going. You know, it's like, oh, I went to go take a dump today. Great, good for you. I say goodbye to this crap. Wow. Oh, no, I have to take my dog to get his medicine. This is why you want world to keep going. This is crazy. Also, why do they put the tag on my beard right there? This is the craziest place to put this crap. Well, thank you so much to Slav. Thanks so much for Zizek. Thanks so much for Zizek to stop by. And guys, thank you so much for watching. And, you know, did I do a fatality and a babality and a brutality on all these fools? Sure. But it's bittersweet, I would say. This is a bittersweet own. You know, it's a bittersweet owning. But always remember, you know, always you're like, oh, the world, all these problems. Always remember.
That is my own sperm.
Okay? Thank you so much. And please, bye-bye. Hey guys, you're only getting a fraction of the weekly shows. If you want a new motherfucking episode every day, subscribe on Patreon for as little as 2 bones. You get the patron-only Tuesday and Thursday shows, the Bookablega show where we look at important books, and the goddamn weekly behind-the-scenes show. And for only 25 bones, you could become a producer and get your name up here. Look at these people. These people make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, nothing. We don't have a show. We got nothing, and it's garbage. And we have to just leave. We have to just basically walk away, and we don't even really know where we're walking. That's the truly troubling part about all this. But please, become a patron today for as little as 2 bones, or 5 bones is another level, or 10, or you go the full 25 and you get up here. Big special thanks to these people. Love you guys so much.